Hi, how are you? It's me. I have had this problem for a few days. Besides the fact that I can't figure out what's going on with comments, if you're just not making them, that's fine. You know, maybe you're on vacation, maybe you don't want to talk to me. That's okay. I can deal with that. Just keep watching, folks. But the other thing I'm dealing with is that I watch these animal videos, and in the background, there's music. It's a theme song from Free Willy. Will I Be There by Michael Jackson. And it's in my head. I wake up 2 o'clock in the morning. I start humming the song in my head. It's just driving me insane. And I stop it before he starts to sing. It's the instrumental part I love. So I don't know. I'm a little crazy, I guess. Hopefully it'll shake loose in a while. I'll find another song. I had Sandman, Enter Sandman by Metallica in my head for almost a year, but that was different. That was cool. You know, it helped me get through bad days. All right. So anyhow, um, I've told people that I won't be here tomorrow. Monday, I don't know. It's up in the air. I probably will be, but the internet will probably be pretty busy because it's a holiday. Now, I couldn't find this article once I read it one time, but Trump is looking into accusing CBS, and I wanted to. I can't, and I it's see. I think I'm not sure who it is, but it's definitely excuse me, CNN of treason. Well, they don't meet the criteria for treason. Trump has met the criteria. Hegseth has met the criteria to be charged with treason on more than one occasion because they're selling out the country, and then they're selling it off bit by bit for personal gain. That's treason. And treason is, in terms of, I'm not sure what about government policy, but military policy is still treason is punishable by firing squad. Okay, so hopefully that's it because I'd love to see Trump on his knees begging and crying. You know, if they can get him out there, they'll probably have to put him in a one of those Hannibal Lecter type chairs to move him around because he just doesn't. He's too fat. He just can't get anywhere. And he's got flat feet, and I know what that's like because that hurts like hell. Now they came back. All the executives came back. And I told you that yesterday. The executives were over there, like Eric and uh, what's his name? But they're all there making deals for themselves while they were over there. So it was basically that Iran trip, which was supposed to be a diplomatic trip, was basically an all expense paid business trip for Musk and Eric and a few other people that were over there, taking pictures and, you know, try to make deals. But from what I've read, nobody came back with anything substantial. China was very laid back and very cool. And I went through a whole thing about this yesterday and everything. At least I think I did. But if my memory's right, never know with me. I'm an old guy, folks. Get over it. The Now you made me forget what I was going to say. You see what happens? Uh, the Chinese. It's the Chinese and the Arabs. That's what I was talking about. These people that have been around and countries that have been around for over 1,000 years. Either in as territories of other countries or tribal, just simply tribal regions. And the American Indians good at this too, but not quite as good as the Arabs were negotiating. The American Indian isn't deceptive. That's the problem. American Indian's too honest. The Native Americans are too honest to make good deals with the crooks that run this government. Maybe now they've grown up and developed some skills, but they were back in the day. They weren't that great at it. They were just they were deceptive, but only in battle plans. They didn't know how the negotiations. They were always very honest and straightforward, and they trusted people, which was another mistake they made. You know. So anyhow, so they're better at it than we are. You know, and they've been better at it for years. You know, you negotiate with them, and look, they learned that they in the psychology department, the human psychology department, they're ahead of us because they developed brainwashing during Chinese did it during the Korean War. They were very effective at it. I don't know how effective they were in Japan about it, but I know the Koreans were, North Koreans were. So, from a psychological point of view, psychological warfare, they're better at it than we are. They have more experience, they're more trained. They've actually practical applications of it, which you don't see with us. We're supposed to be the cyber geniuses. These people built all that shit. Because they were good. They have small hands and they're good at it, so they could do all this delicate bullshit. You know, and they did it cheaper than we would do it because Americans don't work cheap. Americans do great work, but they don't work cheap. That's the problem. And American businessmen that run the business and the corporations don't like to pay a lot of money in salaries. They want profit. And if they can make more money having somebody else that's just as good do it, that'll do it cheaper, they're going to do it. And for years, it's been cheaper to have stuff manufactured overseas and then shipped back to the United States. And that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me that it should be that much cheaper, but it is. So there's something wrong with our manufacturing processes that allow that to happen. And it's called greedy. It's the desire for profits. You know, they're way ahead of us in the manufacturing. They do it, and they've got hundreds of thousands of people that they can put to work tomorrow morning on a specific project if they want, which would take us a few months, at least a few months, to find get all these people that could work, and then and you have to get them health insurance, to get them physicals and all this stuff. Down there, you sign a piece of paper and you're hired. It's like the old west. You walk into town, say, hey, "Can I have a job bartending?" And the guy needs a job needs a bartender at that. Always, you know how to make drinks. I know how to pour beer. Good, you're hired. And that's the end of it. You know. Oh wow. Short of breath today. It's very, very, very stuffy, very hot, humid. This is only the beginning. So anyhow, all those people that were over there didn't get a deal. Now I'm happy that Elon and Eric deals because I wish Trump had pulled off something that might have helped the United States, but don't look like it. And now you get Trump came back. Trump's very good. Trump said this. Trump's thinking of doing it. Trump ain't thinking shit. Trump's playing golf. Like he says, he don't give a shit about you and me. All right. He that we. I'm one of many thousand people that have said that. He doesn't care about us. And now he's saying he doesn't care about us, and people still don't believe him. I mean, that's just such really uh, bullshit. And then I guess this is considered somewhat of an important story. You know what a green card is, right? It's usually a prelude given to immigrants, prelude to citizenship. Okay, applications are way down, which means people don't want to come here and be a citizen here anymore because it's not that great a place to live anymore, unless you have money. See, that's the thing. It used to be a good place. You could survive for a few months over here while you were looking to make something happen, and then you could find work to get you where you wanted to go. But it's expensive being a citizen. It cost me about $8,000 to get my wife to be a citizen. And it's not and when you, it's not as automatic as it was. 20 years ago, I guess it is. It was very easy. You married and you were automatically a citizen. No, no, you got to take tests and everything. Now you got to go through the whole process, and it costs money, and you need a lawyer. All right, better the lawyer, easier it is. Trust me. All right, so uh, and that's a shame of it. My wife's a citizen and doesn't use any of the stuff other than the social security aspect of it. That's it. She doesn't give a shit about anything. Doesn't vote. Doesn't do anything. I vote. It's a hard process. It's an expensive process. I pay to vote. I don't get to vote for nothing. Anyhow, uh, wow, is it so hot? I'm sweating. My underwear is sweating. My jock is sweating. What time? Oh, wow, I got a whole 5 minutes to burn here. Ooh, this is going to be a difficult one to do. So there's no applications for green cards. I don't know the restaurant industry anymore. Because I've been down here for about 20 years now, so I still talk to my friends and the people I knew that were immigrants are now green card holders or whatever. They're all working in America. The ones that were working there before are still working. Nobody's been deported yet. Nobody's been picked up in an ICE raid. They've married, have kids, families, everything like that. It's all cool. Of course, most of them are Ecuadorian, I think. Most of the Spanish people are Puerto Ricans. Which are American citizens to begin with. But the South American countries don't like Puerto Ricans because the Puerto Ricans have the ugly American attitude because they think that because they're citizens of the United States, they believe that they're superior in all ways of life than anybody in South America, and so they're very well disliked. You know, even their music to a degree is disliked, but uh, you get guys like Bad Bunny that come across the can cross the barriers, but it's difficult. And they're like Cuba. They have a lot of serious economic problems. They want to become a state, and he's thinking about making Venezuela the 51st state. We have a territory that's been applying for statehood for years in Puerto Rico, and nobody cares about them. That's something I just realized. Right as I'm talking here, I just realized that Puerto Rico's always wanted to be a state, and they won't let it become a state. But they'll go out. He'll go out and get Venezuela because the big oil field. It's not going to make that oil any cheaper to get out of the ground, folks. Okay, it, it's not going to cost any less to transport it. Probably won't have to pay tariffs or anything like that. But you know, it's still going to be an expensive proposition just to get it out of the ground and refine it. It's not cheap oil. It's oil, but it's not cheap oil. Cheap power is solar power, wind power. Those things are that he doesn't want to deal with. And Cuba, with the help of China, has got the biggest wind power push and solar power push in history going on down there to combat the power shortages and whatnot, to counteract the fuel shortages and whatnot they have down there. And Cuba doesn't have anything except cigars. And Trump don't smoke, so I don't think he's going to push that too hard to make them the 51st state. But as I'm saying is, what happened to Puerto Rico being the 51st state? They're a U.S. territory. Okay? Now, either you cut them loose altogether or you allow them to become a state. Trump don't want to do that. And I think because they're in a tourist point of view, they're in competition with Florida or something. I don't know what the whole deal is, but there's some reason why they won't let it happen. Of course, most of the gangs in New York City were Puerto Rican back in the day, so maybe that has something to do with Trump, because he is a New York City was a New York City resident. Of course, where he lived, you know, The only thing he saw of the New York citizenship was that big as he looked at his penthouse windows, you know. So anyhow, tomorrow's Sunday. I'm not here. Day of rest. Yeah, right. Anyhow, I'll see you guys on Monday. Don't forget to try and subscribe. I have a new subscriber. I'm up to 26. I got to find out who it is. It's they don't tell me. They don't send me any emails or anything like that about that. Who subscribed to it? They just notified me I have a new subscriber. So now I got to go find out who it is and everything, and say thank you to them because I really do love new subscribers and whatnot. I do appreciate everybody that comes on here and subscribes to me. And like I said, this is all free. If I charged for it, I'd have no subscribers. Trust me. This is all free. And that's my partner in crime over here, Lucy. You can see when you talk about Lucy, she looks up at you and wags her tail. Now that's to me, that lightens my heart a lot. All right, so that's it, guys. We'll see you Monday. Have a great weekend.